Gods of the Mountain Ranges. Discourse 1. Beloved God Meru, 6th January, 1950. Beloved God Meru, beloved ones of the light, as we enter into the radiation of the evening, may I reveal to you more of the inner secrets and powers of the great love of the universe, that mighty stream of pure electronic force that plays throughout the system as the great cohesive power holding the physical structure together, and at the same time moving within that structure its sustaining, expanding power of life. As we enter into the radiation of that which we are endeavoring to increase in the United States of America, to hold greater protection around that which is constructive, we are drawing through the great permanent rays to the earth the greater intensity of our own love as it plays through the mountain ranges of the Americas. Throughout the planet in the mountain ranges, there is the concentration of electronic force that, as it goes through the structure of Earth itself, pours forth through radiation to the powers of nature and to the people that energy which, from an electrical standpoint, you would speak of as high potential, and that is stepped down to whatever intensity the beings of nature require in their building of the magnificent formations within the mountain ranges themselves. Then it is stepped down into that intensity which the plant life can use, and it is also radiated forth into the atmosphere which mankind breathe in, and which is in reality part of the great fire breath of God. This mighty outpouring of the love from the great beings who direct this system of worlds is of tremendous importance to the individual. If mankind would contemplate some of these more magnificent manifestations of the great outpouring of life from the great central sun, it would be a raising force to the individual who, through the attention, would reach up to this greater power of cosmic Christ love and draw that which is of cosmic intensity into the individual's own life stream to be the illumination and the greater power of accomplishment that cooperates with the great onward expansion of life's perfection. Now, in entering in tonight to the radiation that we are drawing from South America for the accomplishment of certain things to hold balance within the three Americas, we ask each of you to become an open door through conscious recognition and acceptance of that love which we are privileged to pour to the people of earth. Unless mankind will understand this and consciously accept it, cooperate with it, and allow it to expand in themselves and go forth as the purifying, harmonizing power to change conditions in the physical octave, I tell you, there's no hope otherwise. As each of the great ones has said recently, the planet is taking its initiation in love, and that means that hate must be consumed by that electrical force of the universe, the pure electronic force from the physical sun and the great central sun, and from that light substance in our octave of life. Just as you would throw a blanket over a fire to put it out, can this cosmic light substance from the ascended Master's octave be consciously drawn and condensed and concentrated and directed into conditions and around them where hate is rampant and planning an expansion of its own destruction. And I might say to you tonight, this is vitally important in the capital of your nation, where the capital of every country is the focus for intrigue and selfishness and all that sort of thing. Yet we are all concerned with the protection of the United States of America, of that power of freedom of which she is the guardian. Being the heart of the world, the freedom to love God as the ideal of the nation must be maintained within these borders, and our cosmic Christ love and your demands for its protection are the only activities of life on the planet that can possibly protect it. The destructive force in the rest of the world, as well as here, will not protect your God-given freedom. It will not protect the blessings within your borders of which you are the custodians. The responsibility of guarding the great divine gift which the mighty I Am Presence through the beloved Saint Germain has bestowed upon America from the beginning, the responsibility of that guardianship rests with you. And it rests also within the constructive people within your borders who really at heart want freedom. And there are many besides yourself. That, so far as we are concerned, represents an expansion of the light within the people themselves. And if you are determined to fire them awake with this great cosmic Christ love for the great God presence of life, then that becomes the guardian presence for the freedom of the nation. We are drawing tonight certain currents of that intensifying love from the retreat at Lake Titicaca, from the retreat of Shambhala, under the direction of the mighty Sanat Kumara. And there is also a concentration of it into your capital tonight from the great Lord Maitreya. We would appreciate it deeply if sometime each day, while the present turmoil seems to be expressing, that each of you consider it your patriotic duty to demand such a concentration of the great fire breath of God's invincible love from the central sun. Go into that city with the cosmic power that will compel mankind to breathe it in, and to a large extent hold the purification necessary to stem the tide of that which the destructive forces wish to draw forth into outer violence. Hatred is a terrible thing before life. When mankind have gone on so many embodiments determined not to love some other part of God's life, then the reactions must come and make individuals awaken to the law of their own beings. You, as I Am students, who have conscious awareness now of the power of this love, and our hope to hold under control certain forces within your borders until they can be completely removed. Things must be kept in leash until the cosmic law sees fit to remove the complete stream of energy that is now the sustaining consciousness and supply of the war beast of the world. The head is in Washington, and the resources of your country are being consciously depleted with the deliberate intent to subject you to the same slaughter as the rest of the world. with your cooperation to our request, in the recognition of the great fire breath of cosmic Christ love from the great central sun, to sweep its blazing presence into that city and compel the people to breathe it in, we hope to stem the tide of that which is planned. I am not here without conscious command of the great cosmic law, and the beloved Lady Master Nada, who is my messenger, ever stands ready to pour the power of her love that has served many civilizations throughout the centuries, to bring in the perfection that has blessed life so greatly. We are asking you, as beloved Saint Germain's family, to call consciously and daily, and demand, in the name of the mighty I Am Presence, the great cosmic law of cosmic Christ love, demand the concentration into the city of Washington of that which compels those in your government to become aware that they can no longer go on with the idea to undermine the nation. There are those strong, loyal souls within them who are doing all they know how to do to prevent the destruction intended, and they must have help. And your call for this great fire breath of cosmic Christ fire love from the great central sun will wrap itself around them as a substance which becomes the strength and courage and power and determination to not yield to the forces that want to destroy again the handiwork that would take mankind to freedom. We must concentrate your attention again and again and again to your own conscious cosmic call for this great love from the great central sun to spread its flame wherever hatred appears. And that flame must be held in sustained action until it shuts off the further feeling of the hate creation of the world. We are very grateful for your decrees tonight. Much was consumed as the flames went forth, and much still needs to be consumed. From the great mountain ranges within this nation, there is going forth the blessing and the purifying power of our love everywhere possible to hold protection for all that is constructive. And maybe the great cosmic law will permit certain dispensations for which we have asked to more rapidly intensify within your borders the concentration of the cosmic light substance. Many manifestations of the light, and the great electronic currents of energy passing through the atmosphere of your country, many of these streams of energy are being increased hourly, and we are very grateful for your determined stand to demand America's freedom from that which would seek to rob the people of everything that is of the light. As one of the great ones told you recently, you think the destructive forces have been frightful in the rest of the world, but I tell you, you cannot imagine how vicious would become their hatred to you because of your determined stand for God. Now there are others throughout the world who have stood fearlessly for the great God presence of life. They have stood with all they knew how, and their light has been the protection of much upon the earth. But, my dear ones, you have conscious knowledge of the great cosmic word, I am, the great cosmic authority that, if spoken into the atmosphere of earth, becomes the command to the universal light substance to concentrate into outer manifestation. You hold within your hands the scepter of power by your conscious knowledge of that mighty I Am presence. Will you, for the next few weeks, see the luminous presence? not only over the individuals who are within the city of Washington, but also the luminous presence of the cosmic beings who govern the Americas. See their luminous presence filling and surrounding the city. The mighty Cyclopeia guards Canada. The mighty Saint Germain, the goddess of justice, and the Archangel Michael have been the principal guardians within the United States, as is also the beloved Lanto and mighty Victory, and the beloved Nada, the Blessed Mary, and others with myself are the guardians of South America. So far as Mexico is concerned, that comes under our guardianship also. Now, there are focuses of tremendous power within South America as well as Central and North America, places where the manifestation of the light has been held for centuries. Every effort is being drawn forth from those retreats, wherever effort is being made, to draw forth from those retreats the streams of electronic force of the love that has been held concentrated there for centuries. And that is all pouring tonight into the city of Washington, D.C. The United States of America, as you have been told before, is the cup of life to the world, and the permanent atom is within your city of Chicago. And if this power of love, and I am speaking of that great cosmic Christ love from the great central sun that is the sustaining power of the whole system, if by conscious command you demand that, in its cosmic action unlimited in its quantity, be concentrated into the capital of your nation, and you demand that all things be held within your borders by that love, all things be held within its consciously drawn flame, you'll find many plans of destructive forces will not succeed. For your encouragement, beloved ones, I want you to know the inner currents have been reversed some time ago, so far as the destructive forces are concerned, and they are being removed as rapidly as possible from the planet. But the outer effects must also be corrected, and the great powers that guard the destiny of the Americas are watching hourly to increase by conscious command this great flame of cosmic Christ love everywhere within and around all that is constructive within your borders. Then, as that is anchored and it expands, it goes forth and more rapidly consumes the destructive activities that are seeking to express. We want you to feel that there are legions of ascended master friends who stand your guard because of the service you have the capacity to render. And only the I Am students do have that capacity because of your conscious knowledge of the I Am presence. It would draw tremendous assistance were you to demand that everyone within your nation, and especially those in your government, be compelled to see that mighty I Am presence above their own heads. If you will make the demand, we will do whatever the cosmic law permits to clear away enough of the obstruction in the atmospheric condition to make them see that presence from time to time. And it would do much, I might say to you, to awaken certain forces within them that would be for the benefit of the nation. There are locations within South America where various ones of the ascended host have ministered from century to century. The same is true of Canada and North America and Central America. There are certain localities where the great cosmic light rays have been anchored through the centuries to sustain a purifying power, which this great cosmic Christ love is to the earth. And wherever that has been in the past, I might say to you tonight, it is being intensified as much as the locality can stand. You might wonder why destructive forces or a locality could not stand a sudden intense action of our love. But when you recognize that that is tremendously concentrated electronic force, then it must be released in whatever intensity will not shatter the atomic structure that is not accustomed to it. All of this is a raising of the vibratory action of the energy within the Americas. And as you call forth through these exact words, the great cosmic fire breath of cosmic Christ love from the great central sun, and charge that throughout the atmosphere of the nation, you will find it a very purifying activity. And I feel sure you will all feel a sense of relief in the pressure of the conditions in the throat. That is but a concentration of more impurity due to the war and certain forces over the nation that are trying again to increase the psychic substance. You, through your decrees, can decrease it. It is a constant, ceaseless surging of energy everywhere in the atmosphere of Earth. And those of you who know this law by conscious command can call forth from tonight the great fire breath of cosmic Christ love and spread its blazing violet flame over your nation and especially within your capital, until it becomes an atmospheric pressure so great that destructive forces will find a barrier to the accomplishment of much of their evil. You, my dear ones, have much more power than you dream through your decrees, and your willingness to give obedience to the cosmic law's requirements in order to command the great authority of life of that mighty I Am presence to move into mankind's outer activities and take command where destructive forces hitherto have seemed to rule. It might surprise you to know that a great many of the destructive forces within your borders have recently begun to fear greatly, because their own creation is about to return upon them, and their own life knows that. The sooner it can come, the better it will be. Beloved ones, enter into the demand for that great fire breath of cosmic Christ love to enter into yourselves as well as into your city. My, you have no idea what a sense of buoyancy that will give through your physical bodies. As you demand this and give conscious recognition to it by your daily attention, it will naturally come into more concentrated action in and around yourselves. While it is an activity of the violet consuming flame, it also is like a vapor. It is like a substance as well. And when you feel yourselves breathing that in, notice, if you will, its immediate, raising, exhilarating effect within the body. Whenever you're tired, just for a few moments, stop, and taking a few deep breaths, demand that the great fire breath of cosmic Christ love now comes into your body and there expands its great outpouring of cosmic power in its purifying radiation in and around the physical form. and see for yourselves what a lifting, wonderful, exhilarating feeling will come with it. The fire element, my dear ones, is the life-giving and life-sustaining activity of the great central sun to this whole system of worlds. That is the atmosphere of a planet. It is also the atmosphere of the individual, but if you give it conscious recognition, you can increase its power within and around yourselves almost without any limit. When you begin to realize that the very air you breathe is charged with that pure electronic force from the great central sun, that is the radiation of the love from the life that is there, that mighty I am presence, then as you consciously are aware that you breathe in the great fire breath, the universal fire breath of that great love to this system of worlds, my dear ones, you will begin to have the proof within yourselves of its marvelous, purifying, energizing, illumining, and protecting presence in your own atomic structure. Do you not feel the difference in the room as the radiation has come forth? You have forgotten your throats for the moment, haven't you? Well, it was the fire breath of my love that you were breathing in, and so that which had been disturbing had to recede. But you can just as well as not fill yourselves consciously with it at any time. So I am giving you a secret that, we might say, has a very close relationship to the way and means by which eternal youth and beauty can be brought into the atomic structure. It is but a matter of applying this law with no longer an acceptance of that which seeks to cause disturbance. You know, when there's a volcano burst and all that dust goes into the atmosphere of Earth, mankind become panic-stricken with fear. When our love comes forth by conscious command drawn from the great central sun or the individual retreats where its greater intensity is located, when we consciously draw that forth and send it into a city or a nation or into a group of individuals, it has just the opposite effect of the volcano. One spreads its devastating substance. We, by the same outpouring of energy, but qualified with our love, spread the life-giving power of the great fire breath of our love. And that, coming forth from the great central sun by conscious command, can be drawn by the individual both within the body and into the atmosphere in which you move. Then you carry your own atmosphere with you, and wherever you go, others will feel the life-giving essence around you. They will feel your courage. They will feel your power to accomplish. They will feel through your radiation the acceptance of the presence and the possibility of attaining the ascension. This is actual substance on which is carried your feeling that you have accepted concerning the presence, and on which is carried our outpouring and conviction to you. Then your radiation carries that conviction to others through your mental and feeling world. The great activity of the great fire breath of that great central sun's love is the most wonderful, life-giving essence, and it is an atmosphere in which you could be sustained, independent of that which the rest of mankind have to have in the physical octave. This great fire breath of which I speak, of cosmic Christ love from the central sun, contains within itself all your outer selves would ever need to sustain the atomic structure in absolute perfection and hold about you a sphere of its own essence, its energy, and its supply, ever sustained, ever expanding, self-sustained activity that becomes eternal life for those who move within it. This is how you may live in the world, but not of it. You may move in a sphere of this fire breath of cosmic Christ love, and no harm could come to you. So tonight, would you accept a business proposition? May I put it that way? Please stand for a moment. While you're standing, you will see the violet flame passing from the feet through the body and around you for some distance. And then as you breathe in this great fire breath of cosmic Christ love, will you see pass off from the top of your head, just like a vapor, all the substance within the body that has been distressing you. For just a moment, feel that you are breathing in the great fire breath of cosmic Christ love that releases into the violet consuming flame everything that has been of your recent distress. Please be seated. If you will give me that substance, I will give you my substance. And that should be an even trade. You know, life has so many wonderful things within it. Life is so wonderful, and mankind knows so very little about it, and yet they could know all. So, we come from time to time to those whose attention makes them receptive to that which we can give as rapidly as they can use it. You know, the cosmic law, as the mighty Saint Germain told you, is not stingy, but it does not permit an unnecessary use of itself. And I might say to you, when you have accepted substance within your body or within your country that is discordantly qualified, may I say that is an unnecessary use of energy. Anything that sustains limitations is an unnecessary use of energy. And we are trying to keep your attention upon the necessity of cosmic Christ love. You have not always considered it so. You have thought it was a religious ideal. Yes, it was true, but you shelved it most of the time. And you only remembered to call forth its power when your own distress became so great you couldn't stand yourselves. But now that you are awake from the nightmare of the human senses, may we ask you to enter in with us to the conscious command that this great fire breath of cosmic Christ love now becomes the atmosphere of your city, the atmosphere of your nation, the atmosphere in and about yourselves. And if you will visualize it always as violet, like you would see a violet fog within, which plays the flame, you can draw that into yourselves and then command it to be the release within you of whatever intensity of that cosmic Christ love is necessary to compel purity and balance and health and strength and all the perfection you could desire. You have accepted that you cannot live in the physical form if it doesn't have air to breathe. I say to you, You cannot live and go forward into the activities of perfection unless you have the great fire breath of cosmic Christ love to breathe into your inner bodies. And that must become the atmosphere of your world. Then, regardless of what you require, you at all times, through that power of the sacred fire, have an open doorway, a clear pathway into our octave and into the heights of creation. For through that love you may go anywhere in the universe, behold what you will, and with your attention and love upon it, will life give it to you to use in the physical world. Life will not withhold from you any constructive thing that you really desire to use in the physical octave, but be sure you call forth with it its eternal, invincible protection and the full illumination necessary to use it in the fulfillment of the great divine plan that affects the whole world. Then you are free to draw what you will, my dear ones. Beauty and perfection and abundance of every good thing is yours at any time through the command of that great cosmic Christ love and the acceptance of its great authority of the sacred fire. People do not realize that the sacred fire is real. To a majority of people, you say the sacred fire and its indefinite hazy something. They think it might have some relationship to the flame, but they're not sure. In fact, they're quite uncertain. And the average person, when you speak of the sacred fire, says, "Well, what's that mean? I don't understand it." And yet, that very sacred fire, the unfed flame in your own heart, is giving you the energy by which you live. And then tell me you don't know anything about it when you're it. You certainly know yourself. But tonight, I want you to become aware and use by conscious command the love, the cosmic Christ love, through that great fire breath of creation, because that is the great inbreathing of the cosmic activities of the sacred fire that will produce what you will in the physical octave. That great fire element interpenetrates all the other elements, and it is the very life essence within everything. Therefore, within yourselves, you may have as much or as little as you consciously accept and call into outer action, because you are surrounded by it everywhere. You may turn your attention to the heights of creation, and by conscious recognition, as that energy comes back to you on the love you have sent forth through that great cosmic Christ presence, the mighty I am in the great central sun. As your love goes to that, it is like a river of flame. And on the return current does there come back to you this great fire breath that is the life pulsation of the beings of the great central sun. You were there once. Your life has always been, is now, and always will be. And therefore, you might just as well have all the blessings that are in the heart of creation to draw into your outer use in whatever proportion you require them, as to go on in this outer world's acceptance that you haven't this and you haven't that and you haven't something else. Tonight, because of the need for your nation, if you will make this call that the atmosphere over America blaze the great fire breath of cosmic Christ love until it makes the very atmosphere alive with its flame, and the people are compelled to see it, and they'll be inquiring about other things than discs of light. If they were to see the atmosphere itself become like a flame, almost like a fog of fire, it would at least set them to thinking about something besides themselves, and in that moment they will learn much. So as we move forward, you have the knowledge. We have given you conscious explanation of these more magnificent activities of life's great energy. Therefore, live now in the atmosphere of your own call for that cosmic Christ love, and demand that its great fire breath come into you and renew the outer self. Give you the exhilaration of its great cosmic presence, and pour forth through you that which maintains your world in beauty and perfection and boundless, wonderful, perfect activity. Then draw it forth into your nation to render the same service, and call that forth until the city of Washington itself becomes as a blazing sun with that fire. And let us see what we can do to prevent hate again having its own way. If you will help the beloved Nada and myself to concentrate this through the student body by conscious command into your nation's capital, we will do our utmost, and then leave it, the results, in the hands of the cosmic law. But we will do our best, and I am sure you will, for the protection of your nation against that which is not love. So, from tonight may this flame cover the country, and may it concentrate in the big cities where so many people are gathered together, and move into outer action the consuming power that annihilates the hate that would try again to cause more suffering. Just as hatred hurts, so does our love heal and soothe and encourage and protect and supply that which is constructive. Wherever it goes, it blesses all with that great gift, which only that cosmic Christ love can give. May its great fire breath surge in and around each of you, and arouse you to the most wonderful acceptance of its mighty presence, and take you forward victorious everywhere. The legions of the sacred fire are awaiting your call. Let us dissolve all the hate possible by that great fire breath of cosmic Christ love. And as it spreads its healing radiance over the people, may it forever bring illumination to their minds, and they accept its reality and give the cooperation by which they become free. It is a powerful assistance to the guarding of the freedom of your nation, and the activities of the sacred fire are the cosmic authority that bring freedom everywhere. May you enter in tonight to the fullness of their conscious use by conscious command, and see for yourselves the change in yourselves, in your affairs, in your atmosphere, in your business, and then in your nation. So, we are awaiting your call, and with all the love at our command, with all that life can give and that brings blessings to you all, we stand ready to reveal in every possible way that great outpouring which, we trust, will cover your nation and stand the guard against all that would rob you of freedom. May the great cosmic fire breath of that cosmic Christ love from the great central sun shed its radiance about you and become the luminous substance in which you move, and let you know all the happiness that is within its blazing presence. Feel it as a mantle about you. See it become the atmosphere around you. Visualize it everywhere and demand. The great fire breath of cosmic Christ love spreads over the nation that which withdraws hate and all that would seek to confuse the people when they need to be alert and hold the guard for themselves and those they love. This night may the love of the ascended host prove itself to each of you as you make this call, and the ease and the protection and the victorious presence of that great fire breath give you peace that is indescribable, but that is yours for eternity. And its illumining presence ever reveals to you its greater glories, its greater joy, its greater freedom, and its full cosmic authority and power to command and to compel perfection into action by that love that is always invincibly supreme. Thank you, precious ones. And in the fullness of all that I know that to mean, may you become aware of its victorious presence everywhere about you. And then you give the encouragement to others that brings them victory also. Thank you with all our love.